Okay, everyone, we are back at it with our last packet for our solving equations, and we are on the blue packet. So this is just the video for day 1, and again, it's in your directions, but day 1, you're just doing numbers 1 through 20 here, that whole front page, or that whole first page, both the front and back. So we're going to go ahead and do numbers 1, 2, 3, 7, and 19 together, just so you guys have a little bit of extra practice and see someone work out these problems. And again, we are doing two-step equations here. So whenever you have those two-step equations, remember I always like to go ahead and draw those hearts around your variable terms because you have to keep that number, the coefficient, with your variable. So we have 3x minus 5 is equal to 16. And we want to get that x by itself. So our first step is to move that subtracting 5 over. So again, remember to undo subtracting, we are going to do the opposite, which is adding. And we get 3x is equal to 16 plus 5, which is 21. And again, whenever you have a number next to a variable, that means it's getting multiplied. So how do you undo multiplying? You divide. So we're going to do that. 3x divided by 3. And we do get x is equal to 7 for our answer. And again, if you want to check to make sure that your answer is correct, just plug it back into the original equation and see if it works out. So we have 3 times 7 minus 5. Let's double check. 3 times 7 is 21. And 21 minus 5 is in fact 16. So we know we did do it correctly. All right, moving over here to number 2. We have our negative 14r as our variable term. So again, to get that by itself, we're going to undo subtracting 7. So we're going to add 7, and we're left with negative 14r is equal to 56. And then again, to get that r by itself, we're going to divide by that negative 14. Remember, you can't just divide by positive 14. You have to keep that negative sign. And we do get r is equal to negative 4. And again, just a reminder, anytime you have a positive divided by a negative, you do get a negative, okay? All right, moving on to number 3 here. Again, that 25z, I'm going to go ahead and put in my heart. So I want to undo subtracting 4. Again, I'm going to add 4. We get 25z is equal to 100. And again, I want to get that z by itself, so to undo multiplying it by 25, I'm going to divide it by 25 on both sides. And I do get z is equal to 4. All right, moving on to number 7. The way this sheet printed is kind of weird, but this is just saying a over 17. Oops, a, that looks like a 9. A over 17, or a divided by 17. Okay, you have a couple of those, like this is just m over negative 2, b over 19. Okay, it's just drawn in an odd way. Anyways, so we have a over 17 plus 9 is equal to 77. So to undo adding 9, I'm going to subtract that 9. And I get a over 17 is equal to 77 minus 9, which is 68. And then again, remember, anytime you're dividing by something, to undo that, you're going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 17, and I'm left with my a over here on the left is equal to 68 times 17, which is 1,156. Okay. All right. Last few we'll do together here was last one is 19. Now the reason I picked to do this one was because there's a couple of different ways we can approach this. First off, you can use your distributive property. Remember, this negative or this minus sign, that's the same thing as having a 1 out front. So negative 1 times 3 and negative 1 times negative 4, okay? You can do that. What I would personally do, though, is just do your order of operations, your PEMDAS. Do your parentheses first. So 3x minus, and what is 3 minus 4? That's equal to negative 1. So I'm just going ahead and simplifying this here. So remember, anytime you have that minus minus, next to each other, that becomes a plus. All right, so we get 3x plus 1 is equal to negative 17. And now we have just our regular equation. So my 3x is my variable term. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in that heart. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. And I get 3x is equal to negative 18. And then again, to get that x by itself, I'm going to divide by 3, and I do get x is equal to negative 6. Again, remember, a negative divided by a positive is always equal to a negative. All right, so I went ahead and solved it the distributive property way on the key, but go ahead and complete the rest of these for today, and then tomorrow I will be back with another video for this next section.